Hey, welcome to Common Truth. So today I'm just going to be talking quickly about the validity of nihilism. So if you don't know what nihilism is, it's basically the fact that nothing in our lives have any purpose. Our universe is just quite like, there's no outcome to anything, and whatever we consider as favorable is just meaningless. And we should just remain ignorant and stale throughout our lives due to the fact that nothing ever matters and nothing that we ever do will eventually bring out any product. Nothing will just have any purpose. So yeah, I know it sounds quite cynical. However, if you're to listen, then you'll actually find that the philosophical basis upon which this is formed is actually quite interesting, and it's quite valid. And that's why I'm calling it the validity of nihilism. Some people might oppose this because some people say that happiness is what truly matters. However, if you know me, then you know that happiness, I am an advocate that happiness does not truly exist. However, it's content that we're going for. Along the way, enjoyment is the thing that we're able to achieve. However, this is also just products of what we do that are just at the end of the day just fulfilling us, because at the end of the day when we're satisfied, that's just what we're considering to be happy, and ignorance is what we consider to be the false happiness. It's something that's a fallacy, and it's something that many people believe. However, it's not something that we actually should implement in our lives, because it's just gonna guarantee that we slowly decline further and further. So yeah, that's just my belief. However, let's get back into the story of nihilism. So basically this, along with absurdism, that basically the same concept as nihilism, it can go back and forth. However, that just says that there is the purpose, however the purpose is absurd and doesn't make sense, so it's not something that we should go for anyways. But at the outcome that you derive from either of these are just going to be the same, and they're both based on epistemology, which is kind of the study of knowledge, and it's the base upon which both of these are formed. Because at the end of the day, we strive for knowledge. Knowledge is something that dictates our lives, and it's something that dictates society itself, because without it we wouldn't be humans. Like, we wouldn't be humanity wouldn't exist, and it's not something that we technically would just be proficient at. It would just be some non-existent entity that we would strive to get, and it's something that we would possess innately. Like, if you know biologically, then you know that organisms aside from humans are also intelligent. They're just not to the extent that where they have like a formed language or like barriers where they're able to coordinate at such complex actions and just derive all these different meanings of the planet and think about all these abstract ideas. And that's just not the knowledge that they have. However, they do come with some nature within them, and they do have biological ancestral knowledge, like such as how to hunt, how to feed, how to survive. They're basically just the primitive humans, because if you think about it, humans, before we actually developed our like neocortex, or the new part of their brain, we were just primitive. And this is, even though this makes up 70% of our brain, we still had a lot of brain mass previously, and this brain mass just contained a lot of information about how the supplemental information on how we can survive and how we can just manage ourselves and allow our bodies. Because in the beginning, if you're thinking, when we're evolving, the thing that we actually have within us are just the primate and like the primate tips, because we know what the primates have to do. However, that's the thing that we're trying to avoid, because at that time we just wanted to kind of branch off on our own, and we knew that we weren't in the same kind of category because of the fact that we were bipedal. And you know, even though they are bipedal technically, they remain mostly in trees, and when they do come to the ground, they don't just walk on 2 feet. They generally just use their limbs as support, and they just kind of like crawl. And you might have seen this, you probably have likely seen this, even if you've gone to zoo on the Discovery Channel somewhere, you've probably seen this kind of action. However, as bipedal organisms, we just walk upright, straight, and we walk in an organized manner, and something that can be distinguished from any other kind of species, because no other species kind of walks like this. Even though they are capable of just walking on 2 legs, they just don't walk in this coordinated type of manner, and one where we are able to just maintain this kind of shift of balance, even whilst moving. Because even whilst moving, we're able to continue our balance, and we're also able to remain coordinated. Unless they're very young, then humans are actually able to just move in a very sophisticated manner, if you were to think about it, because everything that we do is quite planned. It's something that we do intentionally, generally opposed to other organisms who might do stuff due to the unawareness or ignorance, or just and not being able to identify what they're actually falling into. And for this very reason, we exploited them using traps when we were when we were previously just ancestral. So yeah, this is precisely what I wanted to talk about, because of the fact that our knowledge is what defines us, and over the years that's what helped us grow as a society. So this is what provides validity to nihilism. It's not just a tangent that I went on, because of the fact that if you were to think about it, nihilism is what's just a product of our unhappiness or our ignorance. Because despite ignorance being bliss, even though it doesn't actually supplement us, it doesn't fulfill us, nor does it satisfy us. It does nothing for us apart from the fact that it just prevents us from moving and growing further. And if we just remain mundane and still in a society that's constantly moving, then eventually we're just going to fall behind, and that was cause of disappointment, because we don't want to be left behind. We want to just have a favorable outcome in which we remain on top, and one that we remain in a good position. Even though you might wish good upon others, which is always good, you should always wish good upon others. It's not something that, because if you're malevolent, then that thing is just going to happen to you, because of the fact that if you possess negativity and you look upon negativity with the world, then technically you're just a product of the world, and that negativity is just replaying on you. It's just reflecting on you, because the more that you dedicate your mindset towards something, then that's just gonna just like affect you. So in that way, it's not something that we should like wish for, like bad upon others. But if you do wish like good upon others, the thing is, it just doesn't affect at all, because of the fact that yeah, we just want the best for others, but we still want to remain in a good position, because by wishing well for others, we're not technically decreasing what we want for ourselves, because as humans we all have needs, we all have desires, and we all have stuff that we want to do in our life, and we all have stuff that we need to do. So yeah, I think that just summarizes nihilism, because there is a purpose to life. It's not the fact that it doesn't have any purpose, it's just that the purpose is fulfillment, and the journey towards that is knowledge. Because at the end of the day, we are gaining knowledge in everything that we do. Socializing, like when we're actually socializing, when you're having a good productive conversation, and not one that's just full of just random nonsense, when you're actually talking about something you're generally learning, even though that might not typically consist of technical knowledge, it consists of you just uncovering the behavioral cues around you. Because when we're actually not completely focused on what the person is saying, especially when what the person is saying isn't typically the best for us, then we tend to focus on what else they're doing, and generally their speech, their mannerisms, all of that. We tend to focus on those things, and those are things we narrow in on, and that thing that we pick up if we just spend a lot of time, because we form like habitual actions over time. So if you were to spend a lot of time around the person, you might notice yourself just like copying their mannerisms. For this precise fact, people say that if you surround yourself with good people, then you eventually just become good yourself, because of the fact that you just strive to be a people like the people around you. It's not that you actually just consciously do this, it's just that subconsciously this is just something that your brain does, because it associates those people with people that you enjoy being around, and it kind of copies their mannerisms in order to make you fit, because at the end of the day, that's what fulfillment technically is. So if you strive for society, then you're just going to be a product of society, but if you strive for yourself, then you're going to be fulfilled. However, you just need to just oppose your subconscious and move in a path that you actually think is a good pursuit, because moving in a path that just temporarily fulfills you won't be the thing that brings you the most happiness. This can be described in various different ways, but quite a lot of them are controversial, and I won't get into them here. So yeah, thank you for listening. You can also listen on Spotify. Subscribe if you enjoyed the episode, and click to watch the YouTube shorts on the channel. So yeah, subscribe to stay informed, and we'll see you in the next episode.